What is up, guys? So today we're going to be doing a legendary Edelgard analysis. Today we're going to go over budget builds, we're going to go over some special, unique builds, and we're also going to go over some final investment builds. And then we're going to show how she works in Aether raids, and who you should pair her with and how that works. So if you don't already know, the reason everyone wanted Edelgard so badly is because she's the first unit in the game that with Gale Force is able to move 3 times in 1 turn, which is absolutely insane. And I'll show you later in Aether raids why that is so insane. But first, let's look at the first budget build here. And as you can see, it is very, very budget. It's just her base kit, but what we've done is we've replaced her Sacred Seal with Heavy Blade in order for her to get those Gale Forces. And you see the blue stats there, those are because of Ymir. If you don't already know, Ymir drops the opponent's attack and defense by 6 during combat, which allows her to get an extra +6 attack and +6 to both defenses. Now we did add another +6 for the attack res solo, and the unit builder only allows you to do a +11, so just pretend like there's another 1 extra attack for 74 and an extra res for 49. But that is the build for budget there. Now you will need someone to -1 cooldown from her special, which is 5, and you need it to be 4 in order to get that 3-turn Gale Force. So the 2 units that you'll have to have in order to do that would be Valoria and Legendary Hector. Legendary Hector will -1 and Valoria will -2. Now if you don't have those at your disposal, no worries. You can always switch out that Heavy Blade and the Sacred Seal for Quick Impulse. Quick Impulse will allow it to become a 4 cooldown special with Gale Force. And with that, you will have to actually fodder off a 5-star Jomke for that Heavy Blade 3 in the A slot. And that won't cost you too much, just 20,000 feathers and some heroic grails, which will be really easy if that's the first time you're getting Jomke. It's only 100 grails, which isn't that much. And this will allow her to do Gale Force all by herself. You won't need any other units necessarily to help her out, and she'll still get that +6 to attack and both defenses. You are missing out on 6 attack and res from attack res solo 3, but that's not too big of a deal if you know what you're doing and you know how to play it right, and I'll show you that later on. But next, let's go ahead and go into special builds. So for special builds, we have Brave Axe Plus and we have Distant Counter. Now going into Brave Axe Plus, the reason people are running this and taking off Ymir is because it allows you to double everything on player phase. So Raging Storm only allows you to double dragons and beast units, but with Brave Axe you're able to double everything. And what you're doing here is you're putting Heavy Blade 4, which gives you an extra +5 attack compared to Heavy Blade 3. And then Death Blow 3 gives you another +6 attack, so that's an extra +11 attack, which I've added here in the blue on the attack stat. Now you are missing the extra +6 defenses you get from Ymir, and you have a lot less attack because Ymir is a 19 might weapon. So for those reasons, I'm not too fond of it, but it definitely works. The only thing it has that would be kind of a detriment to you is on the enemy phase, you will not be able to really do much damage to them. It'll only be on the player phase that you get the most power out of this build. So you have to be a little bit careful with that. As long as you pair her with someone else that is able to take out the rest of the units that she's not able to take out in 1 turn, then you'll be totally fine and you have nothing to worry about. But that is something to keep in mind if you do go with the Brave Axe Plus build. Now to the right, we have a Distant Counter build. And Brave Lucina is really good to help with this build because Brave Lucina will add another +3 to all her stats and also help her special cooldown reduction. And you could run something like Aether with this instead, and you don't necessarily have to run Heavy Blade because she is getting that +1 from Lucina. But without Lucina, I wouldn't really recommend the Distant Counter build too much because she will still really get destroyed by red mage units like Lysithea or any of the other ones. So especially if they're fully invested, even if she's at +10, she's probably still going to get taken out. So that's something to definitely keep in mind. So that's the only reason I wouldn't recommend Distant Counter as a build. Also, she's not getting that extra attack because obviously you have to run Heavy Blade if you want to run Gale Force. So you can definitely trade out that Heavy Blade for something else in the Sacred Seal since you do have Lucina there to make your special cooldown faster. But of course, you're still going to be really weak to those red mages, so just watch out for that. So finally, for the last ones, we have the full investment builds here. And on the left, we have basically the budget build that I showed you before, except now you have Heavy Blade 4 in order to get an extra +5 attack. And then on the right, we have the build that would be your final build, which is Heavy Blade 4, Death Blow 3, and essentially this gives you +17 to attack total, which is absolutely crazy. And of course the blue there with the 79 attack is what your attack would be at with non-plus attack and no merges, which is absolutely crazy. Of course you do have the 5 Dragon Flowers, but that's still absolutely insane. So what we're going to do now is we're going to show you the absolute base build with Quick Impulse, so you don't need anyone else to help her cooldown, and it's not plus attack, and we don't even have Dragon Flowers. And I'm going to show you that this still works. So we're going to go into this. I built this defense team just to show what some teams would look like when you're fighting them. So we're going to maneuver our units here. Now, as you can see, Reinhardt is really taking a lot of space in order to protect the other allies behind him. And the one we're really watching out for here is Lysithea, who could definitely one-shot Edelgard if she's fully invested. Even this +0 would probably be able to take her out. So what we're doing here is we're showing how Edelgard can make it back there and take out Lysithea before she becomes a threat. And what we're going to do is we're going to rely on our Bolt Tower in the back, which will do 35 damage to everyone in these 3 rows, because Edelgard will not be able to one-shot this +10 Ike. So what we have is the Bolt Tower in order to help us do that. Another thing you want to try to do is put your Bolt Tower in one of these 2 middle columns. This will give you the best chance of hitting as many units on the enemy team as possible. And also, another thing to watch out for is trying to have a link skill. So whoever you're going to use to smite Edelgard into battle, you want them to have a link skill, preferably with attack on it, so it gives her an extra +6 attack when you shove her into battle. A unit you can definitely get this off of is a Titania. She is another Grail unit, and it is attack res link, which will give you an extra +6 attack and a +6 res, and that'll help her secure those one-shot kills that she really needs in order to keep moving through the team and get to those units you need to in the back. So that's a thing to keep in mind there. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and move Altina out of the way, and we're going to just let ourselves go all the way to turn 3 and let that Bolt Tower do the damage for us. The reason we're staying 1 space away from Edelgard is so she still has Armor Stride, so she can move 2 spaces and really move into that team. So there you saw the 35 damage to all the opponent's team. We're going to smite her in. Now she's getting an extra +6 defense instead of res because I have a different link, but the attack is what we care about. So we're going to move her in. She's going to one-shot Ike now, which she definitely would have been able to do before. And then we're going to take out Azura because she is the dancer. We don't want them being able to move twice and get extra stats, so we're going to take her out. And then finally we're going to take out Lysithea, who is the biggest threat on this team. And now we've taken out all the major threats. Now, Sothis would be a threat, but she's only a +1 here. So that might have been another unit you're afraid of, but you just play a little differently, of course, and just maneuver her wherever you need to. Now we're going to finish this by getting all the Aether Pots to show that it's definitely possible to do that. But we're also going to show how having a mirror for the extra +6 to both defenses is really nice. Now that is a Spendthrift bow, Norn, and a pretty fully invested Reinhardt as well. As you can see here, she's getting that double even on the enemy phase for dragons, which is really nice. And as you can see, during the enemy phase, they actually reactivated our Gale Force for us. So we're going to take out Reinhardt. And of course, we're not going to be able to take out Norn in this turn because we want to get those stamina fountains. We're going to smite Kranya in. Just going to get this other fountain here. And then we're just going to tank one more hit from Norn. And that's it. So that is how you can use Legendary Edelgard. You don't need plus attack in order to really use her and really get the most out of her. You just need to really know how to use the Bolt Tower and really know how to utilize Smite to your advantage. And of course, if you have a Valoria and a Hector, you can put an extra skill on her for a little extra attack in order to help with that. So that's it for the analysis. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and let me know how you're going to build your Edelgard. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.